What's up, guys? It's Matt here, back with another video, another episode of MarioKartTour, and you might be used to someone else saying "What's up, guys?" This guy up here, and so we've got another ticket time analysis video. The last one with Kart Life. Massive shout out to Sammy D. Did really well, and you guys loved it. So we're bringing back another one. And Stud, thank you for commenting on that video and saying, "Hey, I'd love to jump in and do one of these with you guys as well." So great to have you join. And Flo, thanks so much for joining. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm looking forward to some more analysis. And yeah, how about you? Also well?
Yes, I'm
early
good.
in the morning in New Zealand.
It's cold. Excuse my morning face. It's like, yeah, if I sound a bit like I just woke up, it's because I did. But yeah, we're making it work with the time zones and again, Studfit. Thanks so much for joining. Why don't you tell, for those who've never seen your face before or don't know who you are, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and tell us about how you love this game and what you love to invest into. What do you love? What do you hate? What's a little bit of your strategy around investing in your account?
Yeah, so what's up, guys? Studfit here. First of all, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Flo, for bringing me on here. Ticket Time, I know, has been one of the things that has been kind of taken the underground by storm, and now it's starting to kind of hit the mainstream Mario Kart Tour community. It's been one of those things that as time has been really busy, just literally got off vacation, got home last night. It's one of those things that was on my to-do list, my checklist to accomplish, my bucket list, and you guys have reached out and said, hey, you know, I know you've been playing around with it. Would you like to do it together? You maybe make a video? And I said, let's go. Like that's kind of what sometimes in life, I need a little push to get the ball rolling. But I'm really excited to see what you guys have found. I've taken a little bit of a look at it, but again, it's just it's an amateur's perspective. But I just wanted to first of all thank you guys for reaching out to me and bringing me on this episode. Hopefully, some of my followers, if you haven't already, go ahead and click subscribe and follow these gentlemen. They're phenomenal and doing a lot for the community. As for my account, typically on the rundown and other parts of the reaction, I try to stay unbiased when it comes to my decisions. There's so many people in the community that it's like, oh, this video, this item, I'm so glad I made this investment, and everyone's making investments, and so I try not to cloud any of that with my own kind of personal investment. I'll sometimes talk about it on Kart Talk just because it does help some of the conversations that we're having, but I don't always get to talk about my account. So this is hopefully I kind of remove a little bit of the Studfit hat and put on like the gamer hat of like, this is my account. I'm proud of the investments I've made. So I've been playing. I'm a pandemic player, so really started right there as COVID really hit the United States, and for a while I think for maybe like a week I was free to play, and I realized, oh wow, this gold pass thing's really valuable. Became gold pass, and then maybe bought like 1 or 2 packs here and there, and then as time went on, I just became a full-fledged whale. It was just being able to get that advantage was very helpful, and mainly because I loved pulling pipes. Pulling pipes is my favorite part of the game. It's bittersweet that they've gone away. But the thing is like a lot of my account has been built up just from pulling on pipes, especially special pipes. Special pipes are kind of where a lot of my account before last fall had been built up. Since then, I've kind of pivoted my strategy. I often will get things that I aesthetically like when they are first released for those small discounts of 70 rubies or 105 rubies. And then I'll kind of typically wait and see. There sometimes where I get a little antsy. I have one thing I've realized, and it's kind of one of the biggest things I've been working on here in 2023 is to not get too overexcited about things that are in ranked. I found that things in ranked were some of the biggest account leakage, where I'm losing some of my resources for taking something to 5 or to 6 or to 7, and as compared to just either taking it as Kareem says, taking it all the way maxed or not doing anything with it. And so sometimes I've taken things to 6 or 7 and single cap. I kind of have like these tiers, and this applies for drivers, carts, and gliders. It's like I will either take something to like 6 single, 7 double, 7 or 7 triple, or sometimes 8 triple, and then I have like a couple items that are 8 quad. And so for me, like whenever I'm playing around with the spreadsheets, I can put something at like 8 double uncapped, and I know that nothing else is there. So it's kind of like in between. It's kind of like setting a bet at like 8.5. Like no one's going to score 8.5. They're either going to score 8 or they're just going to score 9. So for me, that's a good way for me to kind of pivot and see if things make sense there. So for me, that's kind of where how I plan out a lot of my account. For drivers, I'm all in on the Miis. And so I've basically every single investment except for Toad Astronaut and King Mario. Other than that, I've only invested in Miis since then, and mostly plus skill Miis.
Right.
I've dabbled with the Bowser Mii, etc. But that's kind of how I've played my account. I like large carts. I like top skills. All of the Miis that are coin box and boomerang, except for the bronze, are level 8 quad capped, and then I have the giant banana ones and lucky 7 at 8 double triple uncap. So for me, it's like kind of that's where I'm setting things. It's kind of like along with the meta, but I'm making the investments just like you guys. So I'm watching the rundown.
Yes.
I'm like, I want to see my stuff go. I like, where's my, I want to see stuff do really well. So I'm pretty excited about you guys walking through my account, making some critical assessments and tell me where I can make the best move forward. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention one thing that I do think is important. I love all cup ranking. That's why I play the game, and so
awesome.
when it comes to my strategy and what I want to invest in, I am kind of making a little bit of a saving. I did a top 10 run back in I think 2021, and came out with a video that's very, very helpful. I still feel like it's very true to this day, but that was before the DKRE spreadsheet, and so there's a lot of things that I would have done completely different if that was around. Then fast forward about a year, and I went for like top 10 3 times in a row because I had already made these investments, and this is when Coconut Mall and Vanilla Lake and Wario Shipyard were all just like in the same tour for 3 tours in a row, and I was like, man, I got to keep going. And so I finished, I think, 11th and like 12th, and then 11th again. That last one, I still feel so bad because what's his face decided he was gonna retire, and then he came out of retirement the same tour. So
gosh.
Either way, I basically said, you know what, top 10 is not in my cards for me right now. Here's where I am today, though. So now I'm with an organization where we had a big deadline. It ended last week, so I could see myself potentially in the fall going for another top 10, but not until maybe mid-September, October. So that's where I'm with my account. I think it's helpful to know.
Yeah, I mean, we're there for it. I've been following your channel for a while, Studfit, so I was part of the pain that you felt along with all the other views. We felt for you 3 tours in a row, but yeah, if you do go for it, good luck, and we hope you can get it this time. Thanks for breaking down your strategy. That's really interesting to know how you kind of how you think about your account and how you invest. Some of that we might have known, some of that might be slightly new, but let's dive into it, guys. We're really excited to share Studfit's rankings and share our thoughts around some investments. So I know, Flo, you've spent a little bit of time looking at the account. I've taken a quick look myself as well, but I think you're going to give us most of the analysis today. So let's jump across. Let's take. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Can you see that all right there?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. And so here we've got Studfit's rankings. As per how, if you haven't used Ticket Time before, the link's in the description down below. Super easy. You put your DK, sorry, you're not your DKR. You put your BGR or BAM Gerbs spreadsheet input in. You choose your settings, and then bam, you've got your rankings. You can keep the URL. You can save that on Discord or what have you, and then you've got your rankings for the tour all sorted. So, Flo,
super easy, guys. If I can do it, you can do it. Do it now.
It's easy. Yeah, sweet. And Flo, should we start with the drivers?
Yeah, let's go. Let's open the drivers tab, and
right.
You will see some difference if you haven't looked at Ticket Time in the last couple of days, since I had a big update yesterday. So we have some filters introduced, and yeah, probably even easier to notice there are some pictures now. And massive shout out to Larry98, who else could deliver these pictures. So yeah, they're finally now in Ticket Time as well, and I think this now makes it a little bit more living,
amazing.
or however you want to say. So
look at all that pink Studfit. You must be loving that.
I love it, man.
Oh yeah. The high end looks great. Yeah, so looking at the top 10, we've already heard that Studfit usually now goes into Mies, and we see a couple of Mies here as well. What we don't see, for those that do not know, Ticket Time has upgrade rankings. So if an item is already maxed out, there's no way to upgrade it, and they won't appear in the rankings. So obviously, a player at Studfit's level has, of course, Gold Me leveled up to 8 quad capped. Matt and my Gold Me are, of course, maxed as well. But yeah, Gold Me is the best driver in the game, probably forever. Let's see. There are also a couple of other Mies. Question mark Block Me is also maxed. I'm not sure. I think PD Me and Larry Me as well. So those 4 drivers will not appear in the rankings. All the others should be listed here. I think PD Piranha Gold is also maxed, if I'm not mistaken. Studfit, is that right?
That is true. Regretfully,
Yeah.
In some respects, yes.
Yeah. Well, and then the rest of the drivers we see here. So we see Santa Me, Yellow Me, and then further on 5, King Boo Me, Morton Me, Bronze Me, Silver Me. And in between some non-Me drivers, Toad Astronaut and Mario King, that were already mentioned. So they are 7 double capped, whereas most of the other Mies are already 8 triple capped. And then further down, we see Daisy Tigress and Meowser that have already peaked, but still have some great value at 8 triple cap. And there might be a good reason to even go the last step to 8 quad cap for these drafts as well. But yeah, in general, what you see here also, I've also watched the cards talk, and there was a lot of discussion about the ranked appearances for Mies and non-Mies. We will dive a little bit deeper on that on a separate video. But also to get a feeling here, look at these rankings, and you will see the Mies do not appear in ranked, but they are, of course, super important for ACR. And then there are some drivers that carry your rank, like Toad Astronaut, Mario King, Daisy Tigress. Those would be 3 examples that are currently in this ranked. And yeah, what I thought when I had to look at this ranking, first, it's very nice to see so many plus skill Mies invested in already. Of course, not everyone has the tickets to do so, but Studfit had the ticket and also decided to do so quite early on, because for example, Charge and Jack Colt, I was not aware of that, is still at level 1. And you already told in the chat that this might have been a mistake, but honestly, I think it was a good decision to prefer the Mies, because now the time of Charge and Check Gold is a little bit over. Of course, both ways are fine. So Matt, your way maxing out Charge and Check Gold is probably not wrong either. But I think in the very long term, and since we have more Mies and more Mies added, the Mies will still gain on value. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that Santa Me, Yellow Me, and so on would be good investments.
The one question I would have then in looking at all this, because some of these, the way Ticket Time, for those who have not done this before, kind of gives you this, upgrade potential. And so there on the list, you notice that the Bronze Me is at 7, and he's much lower level than all the others that are there. That could really, their only option is to quad cap them. Outside of King Mario and Larry, Toad Astronaut. So like, how should I be looking at Bronze Me? Should I take him up? Is that kind of what it's suggesting, just because he's so much lower and it can really help him out, or how would you kind of take this information when it comes to a potential run down the line?
Yeah, that's a very good point, and that was also one driver that I, of course, would have discussed, since obviously all of the other drivers are level 7 and level 8 here, and then there's this Bronze Me at level 2. And if we had to look at the last ranked weeks, Bronze Me never appeared, or close to never appeared, so it's really not relevant for ranked. But in ACR, it has some appearances here and there. It also covers a lot of older tracks, like Daisy Hills, Yoshi Circuit, some Kalimari Desert 2, and they are pretty difficult to cover with plus skills. Not only with plus skill Mies, but also with plus skills in general. So you don't have very good other options. And if you don't have Bronze Me level, then you're missing out on a couple of points in the ACR run. So of course, for ranked, it's not important. But if you want to go every tour for ACR, I think Bronze Me would be a good investment. And maybe we can also have a look at the tracks Bronze Me would improve on. There are, of course, also a couple of cities. But yeah, that's the item inspector for those who do not know. And then we can see, okay, if we would level up Bronze Me to level 7 and triple cap it, then these would be the gains. And then, for example, on top, you see Yoshi Circuit. We see there that the previous option would be a red Yoshi at 8 quad cap, but of course it's a super, it's a non-plus skill. And just by putting a 7 triple cap Bronze Me instead, you would gain 18,000 points on the estimate.
Wow.
So that's of course a lot. If you have Yoshi Circuit in ACR and you use a red Yoshi instead of a Bronze Me, then you're losing many points. So probably this would be a tour where you would go for top 10 in your case if you have got no tickets to level Bronze Me. But yeah, so Yoshi Circuit, Daisy Hill, a lot of other tracks.
Just one thing to say about this is that, yes, Bronze Me is on the top 10 list, but it doesn't mean it's like your top 10 driver or anything like that. It's more to say that it's in the top 10 because of for these reasons. These are the key reasons here. This weighted score improvement. So it's I guess contextual. So that's why we talk about ranked or ACR, is because it depends on appearance of a course. Do you need it? Can you afford to lose those 18,000 points? Maybe for a top 10 run, I mean, for top 10, 18,000 could be significant. That could be the difference, maybe. I mean, you can tell me, but that could be the difference between getting it or not. And so if you have the tickets to replace a 8-4 super, then that could make sense. But of course, there's lots to consider around boomboxing, around, you know, we heard just, I think in your tour reaction, you're talking about, you know, PD Me, and Larry Me are your boomerang drivers, and that's it. And so I respect that too. I think that's an important thing to consider too.
Good, thank you. So I know, just based on time, maybe we jump into carts. This is helpful, and it's good to know. I didn't know the bronze would make such a big change in my account. So thank you.
Did you want to, just before we jump over to carts, Flo, did you have any recommended upgrades for this tour, or how we could be thinking of that? Of course, you've got the ranked appearances column there, so it might be thinking about whether you need that scoring potential. I don't know if you ever have trouble with ranked Studfit, maybe not.
Yeah, that's what I think. So if there's no troubles with ranked, then just save the tickets and make some ACR appearances when it's needed. So
live in the dream.
No really recommendation for me.
Yeah, you live in the dream. Okay, cool, great. Well, there you go. All right, let's move on to the carts. Here we go. So lovely to see it right at the top. We've got the pink comet. I'm sure you'll be stoked to see that at the top of the list.
Yes. I was actually surprised, but that makes me really happy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big part of Ticket Time is the recency boost, which you'll see here in this. So it's a significant recency boost for this particular item over, say, the Moo Moo Off-Roader, if we compare those two. So even though the number of improved courses is much greater for the Moo Moo Off-Roader, the potential, not just for current scoring potential, but also future appearances is that much higher with the Pink Comet. As well as two more substantially improved courses, so the Moo Moo Off-Roader potentially has more overlap. Flo, do you want to jump into your thoughts on the carts?
Yes, yeah, okay. We also have a couple of carts that, of course, not appear since they're already maxed out. For example, Tropical Truck, one of Studfit's favorites. I think Yellow Off-Roader as well. But other than that, we see also here a couple of options that are at a similar situation like the drivers, 8 triple cap. And of course, the last step would also here to quad cap these cards. Pink Comet could be interesting. I'm not sure. Do you have a maxed out card on Cookie Land?
Cookie Land I was using Pink Comet, so that's my best option there.
Okay, yeah. So that's the best option. So of course, since it's
that's a good point.
Yeah, still appearing every 2 out of 3 tours, Pink Comet might be a good choice to get this last step. And as you can see here now, of course, on top of the list, since the battle courses just have the highest curse weight, that's why this is also then on top of the list. And then we see a couple of other new courses which Pink Comet covers. So that's a safe investment, I would say, and obviously in an item you love. So go for it. And other than that, we see Mumu Off-Roader, and then the third item is also interesting, the Rainbow Pipe Buggy, where there was also a lot of discussion on.
Right.
We see that this one is still at level 6 and single cap, so the first step out of these 3 or 4 steps you mentioned. And of course, there's more room for improvement. So maybe we can click on it. And then also see here a couple of tracks that it would improve, where is also the best option, since it doesn't have that many overlaps with Pink Comet or Mumu Off-Roader, where they, of course, they are already at 8 triple caps, so that's not important since these tracks are already covered. But we also have a couple of other options there. We see here Moonview Highway R, that's for example a gold me track, so it's also important to have a big card there. Doesn't matter if it's then the red B-Dasher MK2 or the Rainbow Pipe Buggy. I think this is also an interesting one. And when we will later have a look at the best item combinations, we can also maybe see whether these 3 investments are also good combinations: Pink Comet, Mumu Off-Roader, and Rainbow Pipe Buggy.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is really cool to see. And I mean, even from my perspective, if you look down here, you can see the uniqueness. It shows how much you're already using the Rainbow Pipe Buggy. That's what the uniqueness is kind of showing there. And you can see there even like a double cap. So, I mean, obviously the recommendation is 8 triple, but, you know, even if you comes up in rank and you're using it, you know, even 6 double is going to give you a slightly more points there on quite a few courses. So I think that's a relatively safe investment. Did we want to look at the best item combinations now before we look at the gliders, Flo, seeing as we're talking about the carts?
Up to you. We can also have a quick look at that, yes.
Okay, great. So let's jump into the best item combinations. So this is using a similar algorithm to what Turtle Dude's ticket optimizer? No.
Coverage optimizer.
Thank you. Coverage optimizer.
Coverage optimizer.
Perfect. Yep. And so it does something similar here. Did you want me to just include those 3 carts, or how would you?
No, not necessarily. You can just put the normal tickets both to 0 and the super tickets as well. So both the level and cap tickets for normal and super to 0. And the other we can keep at 30, or maybe let's increase the card cap tickets to 50 or something like that. The level tickets 30 should be fine. And because we want to cap some items that are 8 triple, and we do not spend any level tickets then, but rather do some cap tickets in order to have some of these included. That's why I chose these values there. And then take some time.
I was gonna say, while it's loading, one of the things that has come up a couple times in Card Talk from like Wootmoo and others is, you know, saving 50 tickets of each and then being able to kind of unload it all in that one tour. Yeah. For someone who's like a whale, I don't think I'm gonna need 50, but I think 30 is a good amount. So I know the cap tickets though, completely different story because we're talking about quad capping and we're dropping 12 at a time. So I think 30 level tickets is probably what I would be expecting. So good estimation there.
Cool. So we get the result here from the best item combinations, and you can see the top 3 options here in combination: Rainbow Pipe Buggy to 8.3, Pink Comet to 8.4, and Mumu Off-Roader to 8.4 there. And that's the total gain that all of these, obviously spending all of those tickets, you could invest in every single one of these items, which is a lot. But of course, the items that you specifically invest into will depend on the ACR you go for. But that's encouraging for these 3 items. You can see that they really do pair really nicely.
And I love all those items, like as compared to, you know, the Gold Eagle or, you know, the Sky, even the Sky Blue Mark II. I would have a hard time making those type of investments. But I mean, the Rainbow Buggy, I love the look of it. I love it definitely feels big, and I like it kind of big and low to the ground. So I'm like all these 3. I think I'll probably be pulling the trigger on all those, to be honest with you, especially after hearing you guys.
All right, we're doing our job, Flo. Let's move over to the gliders. Yeah, I'm hoping by the end of this is actually our job interview, and Stud's going to bring us all onto staff, and we're starting a company, MarioKartTour investment company. Anyway, moving on. So we got the gliders.
Think about a way to make money doing it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah. Cool. So looking at the gliders, love to see this gold hard hat balloon at the top of the list. This is one that was both for you and I probably Studfit like a bit of a regret early on. It's been a very slow burn, but for me it's really starting to be I've got it at 6 double capped, and so it's like I guess 6 double capped is the 8 triple equivalent for you. I'm really starting to seriously consider that, spending my tickets there to take it up to a higher level. So that's interesting to see. A lot of 8-3 gliders here as well, which again we're going to probably talk about quad capping here. But Flo, what are your thoughts on the gliders?
Yes, we also have a lot of 8 triple cap gliders here. We also have a couple of 8 quad cap one. What's nice there that you have all the battle courses covered with, I think, tropical balloons, black and great sail, and the 8-bit one-up. So
that was a priority.
Nice choices.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that's good because they are all returning, and if you have an 8 quad item there, that's perfectly fine. And then we see a couple of other options here. Most of all, these, the gold hard hat balloon, where we can also see it would improve on 40 courses, which is a lot. Wow. So it's currently the best on 40 courses, where it is already at 8 triple. And of course, if you would quad cap it, you would improve these 40 courses. There are, of course, cities included, but maybe we can quickly click on it and have a look at which other courses it covers, just to get a feeling. And yeah, so there are some Boo Lake, Bowser Castle, Dry Ruins. Of course, trick tracks, they are also a lot of trick tracks where the score is a little bit higher, so it's even nicer that you would invest in this item. I've seen the yellow hearted balloon is not even owned at all, so there are also, I think, a couple of overlaps even in the beginning, where between the gold hearted balloon and the yellow hearted balloon. But I would say this is safe investments. Gold hearted balloon is doing really great. Also climbing up the rankings. It's really a late bloomer, but an absolute safe investment, I would say.
Makes me wonder if all these gold premium challenge items will end up being very, like late bloomers, but all pretty great in the long run. This is pretty amazing. And like just on the piece on cities, I just wanted to mention, we talk a lot about should you invest into city coverage and things like that, but I mean, a great item is a great item, and if it covers you on a whole bunch of these great courses, as we go, if we page through the list to the end, these are the courses here that aren't as valuable. Or I guess I could just flip this whole thing on its head here by going weighted score like that. So the worst one here is Rome Avanti T. These kind of ones that aren't going to come back all that much, but they still are going to give you some gains. So you can justify it based on these courses, but actually there's 4 pages of courses here, which is going to improve you on. So I love the item inspector. It's probably the best feature of Ticket Time from my perspective. It allows you to actually drill into what specifically is going on with the courses underneath the overall, why is it number 1? Well, click through and you'll see pages and pages of all of the improvements it's going to make, as opposed to you go look at a bad item and it has like 3 and they're already covered by something else. So that can be really good. Any thoughts from you, Studfit, before we move on with any more recommendations from Flo?
Yeah. So it sounds like for some of these options, just based on what I've invested already, it's just a matter of quad capping it or not. But there's kind of some that I've been debating on. Like this Fire Manta has just been relentless this year, just getting that ranked track, getting some really good tracks. So I was looking at all cup ranking this tour, and there are, I think, like 3 or 4 tracks that it would give me if I wanted to finally take it to 8. And I feel like it's been it's just very deserving of like 8 triple just because of where it's at. And I have more glider tickets sitting around than carts and drivers, just because gliders have not been quite as hard to cover. But I've been looking at that, and I noticed one of the tracks that is there twice. It's also overlapping with one that I took in early, which was the glittering glider, or I guess it's like a crown looking thing, but it's like the coin one. It was definitely was like a commemorative item. And so I was looking at those 2 items, and I kept looking at it. I was like, this one gives me like 6 tracks, this one's 7, but if I take it to here, this one gives me 8, this one gives me 9. It just all kind of ended up being the same. I also see the 8-bit block glider on here as well, which I would love to take pull the trigger and take it to 8 as well. So just kind of like thinking about those 3 gliders, the gliders that are not at 8, which one would you take to 8 if you were me?
Great question. What do you think, Flo?
Yeah, so between these 3 gliders, I think I would probably pick the 8-bit block glider. That's a little bit of a tricky one because I have also debated whether I want to buy it or not. For my account, it has a couple of gaps it fills, but it also had a lot of overlaps with other popular gliders. I'm not sure whether it was 8-bit 1-up or some other gliders. So yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult one, but it seems that for your account, it does still pretty good. So as we can see, 33 improved courses, that's quite nice. And we also see that the recency burst is 0.21. So it means that it hasn't seen 21% of the tracks or 20% of the weights of all tracks. So just to give you a feeling what this number is about. And this is then also what we take into consideration for the boosted score, so that we see, okay, this glider brings some improvement until now, but we expect it to be even more since it hasn't seen these tracks yet. And also it will probably get buffed on the courses that will get introduced in the next couple of courses, since this is always on the newer items. So this is, of course, a little disadvantage for the Fire Manta glider, which is quite old. But yeah, somehow it's nevertheless getting buffed, and nobody knows why. And it's always appearing in ranked, as we can see this tour even twice. So
Nintendo loves Cheetos. That's the only thing to explain it.
Well, it was a special pipe item. You know my love for special pipe items. Nintendo loves their special pipe items. So I'm with you there. The one question I had is the block glider. I think I'm trying to remember. Was that during the trick tour? Was that the same tour as the gold hard hat? Like, is that kind of, could there be some overlap between some of these like Mario circuits with, I don't know, with these with these trick tours?
Might be, yeah. I think, yeah. So the 8-bit block glider came out with the 8-bit Goomba and the other 8-bit block glider, and
I don't know if that was the same tour.
It was a 4th 8-bit glider, if I'm not mistaken. But it was not in the same tour like the hearted balloons and so on. Okay. No, but of course later. They were in the similar, similar tours. So of course they got roughly similar buffs. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I just thought this could help us a bit. So it's obviously recommending gold hard hat balloon to 8.4, which also brings along with it the Sakura origami glider, gold cloud balloon, which is we haven't even talked about, Calico Toe Beans, Fire Manta. So Fire Manta is in the mix. It's not high up on that list. So we're probably, just due to our bias with seeing things in ranked, getting buffed all the time, we're probably ignoring some obvious items. But what we could do in this case is we could actually include 8-bit block even to 8.4 just to see what it kind of does with that. What are the ones that sit in and around that one? So you can see gold hard hat is still valuable. Sorry, Flo, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, unfortunately I couldn't see the exact number before, but I think the gain has almost not changed at all. So I think this is something between 1% of a difference in the total gain. So you can really go both ways if you want. And that's also how you should use this best item combinations. If you really want to level up some specific items, just include them and then see whether the gain is reasonably close. Similar like in the ticket optimizer for Turtle Dude, where you also may not want to go with every recommendation there, but you have some other ideas, you put them on, and then you can see whether you're arguably close to what was calculated before.
So for the record, taking Fire Manta to 8.4 as an example here, it's dropped the gain by about 20,000. It was at 400 60 something thousand. Now it's 442. So, you know, I mean, and this is why people say, like, it's, you know, my investment is the best investment, because it's still a great investment for them. It might not have been the absolute optimal investment from a scoring perspective, which is exactly what we love about Ticket Time, because it you can't ignore it. Like, the information's right there, it's in your face, and it's saying, well, you can do that, but you're losing 20,000 points. And so that's where it comes down to, and it's why, for me, like, I actually do not feel comfortable spending tickets without running Ticket Time anymore, because I know that I am biased as a human being. I'll go, I like this item, but actually there's a more optimal choice. So hope that helps with your dilemma. What are you thinking around Fire Meta, Gold Hard Hats, these different items? What are your thoughts?
I mean, to be honest with you, I might just take the gold hard hat to quad and then just sit back and wait. You know, I think for me, you know, as Sammy D always says, patience is the biggest skill here. So there's no rush. I guess you know, I felt like if it was going to really help me, and I think it could help me, but you know, is it helping me in the right tour, or can I wait a little bit longer and get a better feel for it? But overall, I think this was extremely helpful, and you know, I definitely see the value of coming here first before making any type of investments. It actually you know, quantifies the potential gain, which I absolutely love.
Cool. All right. Well, we probably don't need to cover too more before we wrap up. But I did want to just say about Gold Hard Hat, it's not in ranked, so maybe check how many ACR appearances it does have, see if it's useful for you this tour with ACR. But certainly, yeah, I want to. I could have gone in harder into Gold Hard Hat last tour. I held back. So I think that that principle of holding back and only spending when you really need to is important. Mostly that was because Flo was in my rank last week, and I didn't want to absolutely decimate him, but I think
wow.
it's still and this week I've got Jeeves in my ranked, so so the fun times. But so those are the investments, guys. I hope you found this episode useful, and of course Studfit, I really hope that you found this useful as a way to look at your account in a different way, do some, like, a really Ticket Time as a tool to analyze your account in the same way that BGR does it. It's just a slightly different workflow, and it's got some different tools in there that is more about quantifying the actual scoring game. So we love it, and we hope that it's more useful for you going forward. And thank you again for your support of the channel and of Ticket Time. It's been really cool seeing people talk on Kart Talk and say, oh, I've actually started using Ticket Time, and that's been really cool for us. This has started as a very small project of just Flo sending me spreadsheets on a server, and then it's gone into something that people are talking about. So we're really stoked that we've been able to get this tool into people's hands. And thanks for joining. So I'll let you leave any passing thoughts, or as you wrap up, and then Flo, I'll let you finish out the episode as well.
Yeah, there's just something about us as human beings. We want to kind of do a process of elimination. I kind of want to just, like, that's kind of the reason why we just look at large hitboxes. It's kind of one of the reasons we just look at top skills. It's because we want to help narrow things down. We want to kind of, like, in our minds, you know, process of elimination, reduce it to one or two options, and then kind of what I think would be helpful for this is now I get to keep my eye on the bronze me. Now I get to keep my eye on the calico toe beam balloons, or, you know, some of these items, secure, even origami glider. That thing's been around forever, and I kind of invested in it late. But things like that where I'm like, all right, I know this now, like, gonna help me out, and it's gonna bring a lot of points. So I think just narrowing it down to 10 to 5 to whatever allows me to have better perspective when making these investments. So thank you for doing that. Thank you guys for taking your time this afternoon or morning or afternoon or evening to be able to do this with me. I really appreciate your flexibility. This was an honor.
Awesome. Flo, any passing thoughts, or as we finish out?
Yeah, of course. Thanks to both of you. It was, again, a great episode. And before we wrap it up, I actually wanted to share one thought or one piece of analysis that I did on both of your accounts.
Okay.
And
we're in trouble.
Actually, let's start with Studfit's account. I want you to guess what percentage is Studfit's account in comparison to the optimal account that has everything at 8 quad capped in terms of score. So imagine you have everything on 8 quad capped. So you have the best loadouts. You always have gold me when it's available, and also have the the full leveled me option when it is better than the full leveled coin boxer because of the base points, and also the other way around. When it's the coin boxer, then it's this one, and so on.
Yeah, so all
How
tracks
close can
including
you
cities
get?
and nitros, or just assume tracks?
Exactly. Yeah, everything.
I'd have to guess between, I'd probably say 32.5%.
I was gonna go more like 80. I'm gonna say 85% for Studfit.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's very close. So it was 87.47. So that's pretty good. That's pretty decent. So you're coming close to the end game, Studfit. For comparison, how at which position do you think you would be, Matt?
It's hard to
In your
say.
count, you did some difference with the action count, so it's a little bit unfair. But I tried to approximate it.
Okay, cool. It's really hard. I'm jumping between in my head. Is it 70? Is it 60? Let's just go split the difference and say 65%.
Oh, it's way high already.
Okay.
Since you already invested in GoldMe and so on, so it's also above 80. It's roughly.
Wow.
So I estimated it around now with 81.225.
Oh wow, that's a lot higher than expected.
Not bad. But of course, the way is quite steep. So the next 6% until Studfit's level, obviously, you need some more level 8s everywhere.
That's like the final
fun
push.
and one.
Sorry, go ahead, Flo.
Yeah. No. Go on.
I was just going to say, like, that's a final push in Mount Everest to the peak of the mountain. You know, if you're a top 10 player, you're going to the peak of the mountain. But for me, I'm staying at the summit.
It may not be worth all the aging skin and the frostbite to go all the way to the top.
Yeah,
that's how
it feels.
for everybody. But no, I appreciate you guys doing this. Thanks again for having me. And for those watching at home, if you haven't already subscribed or like this video, don't worry about liking the video. It'd be great if you do, but like make sure to subscribe to these guys. They put a lot of hard work into this. I appreciate it. So from my personal heart, thank you very much for subscribing to these guys. That helps out my friends. So thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thanks guys for watching. We really appreciate it. And take care. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.